So, comrades, it's really important that we're discussing the Spycops scandal at this conference because there are important hearings coming up in October, so just a few months away, where we will get more evidence revealed about the extent to which the British state has spied on and infiltrated and attempted to divert and in some cases destroy the trade union and labour movement. And it's also really important that we're discussing it today because of the events of this week where, as has already been mentioned, Palestine action has been banned. The legal action against the rap group Kneecap and the threats of legal action against Bob Villan. So apparently it's a crime to sing about genocide, and one of the most murderous armies in the world, the IDF, which is killing babies and children and mowing down civilians while they're queuing for food, that's a crime. But it's not a crime it's a crime to sing about it, but it's not a crime to carry out genocide and supported by the British government and other governments around the world. So, and we've seen the collusion of the British state, the media, the courts, the police in their attempts to criminalise the current anti-war movement and those people that are defending the Palestinians at the moment. So it's really important that we talk about it at this conference. And some of you will know that me and others in the NSSN, the Socialist Party, other left trade union, progressive organisations, we set up the campaign opposing police surveillance when it was revealed that by a whistleblower that the organisation, the Special Demonstration Squad, which was a political police unit inside Special Branch, was spying on trade unionist socialists and others in progressive causes. We set up that campaign and we fought and we won. A public inquiry, which, as I said, is having its hearings over the last few years and has got hearings taking place in October. And what has been revealed is absolutely, well, you know, we thought we wouldn't get any decent or important disclosure, and there's lots of stuff that they haven't disclosed to us, but the stuff that they have disclosed has told us an awful lot about the British state, as confirmed what all of us knew, which is that the British capitalist state is not neutral, and that it has there's been a systematic campaign of the deep state, all aspects of the deep state. Special Branch and the Special Demonstration Squad are just the tip of it. But their activities were sanctioned and authorised and paid for at the highest level of the British state. So what do we know? We know that the Special Demonstration Squad and the unit that followed them once that was closed down, the MPOIU, we know that they spied on over 1,000 organisations. We know that they spied on a whole number of trade unions and trade unionists. They spied on the National Union of Teachers. They spied on the NUJ. They spied on UCAT, the Building Workers Union. And we know that undercover police officers colluded directly with the private blacklisting companies which gave names of activists on building site, health and safety reps, who in the main actually were also socialists, members of the Communist Party, members of the militant and other socialist organisations, that those private blacklisting companies colluded directly, the police colluded directly with them, and they gave their names to the big building companies, and hundreds of workers were blacklisted because of this spying activity. They spied on the CPSA, the forerunner union to the PCS. They spied on the NUM, the National Union of Mine Workers, and Gareth Pearce, who is the lawyer for the NUM, summed it up when she said the British state spent 30 years trying to destroy the NUM, and they did that because they wanted to change the infrastructure of our society. And we all know what followed. Well, some of us, the older people in the room, know what followed the miners' strike in 84, 85, and the way they were able to deregulate the economy and deregulate workers' rights and workers' conditions. We also know about the terrible abuse that has gone on. So we all knew that the Metropolitan Police was institutionally sexist and racist, but we didn't know that undercover police officers were having intimate sexual relationships with women activists who were part of our movement. The trade unions or the environmental campaigns were part of our movement or around our movement. We know that they deceived over 60 women into sexual relationships. We think as we go through the next few tranches of the inquiry, we've found out about more women that they deceived into intimate sexual relationships. We know, for example, that every single spy in the animal rights movement had a sexual relationship with one of the activists. We know that the current Tory councillor in Peterborough, Andy Coles, is an absolute creep and a cretin, described as such by women activists who deceived a 19-year-old young woman called Jessica into what was her first sexual relationship. We know that they spied on family justice campaigns like the Stephen Lawrence family campaign. So instead of spending the first few weeks after the murder of Stephen Lawrence hunting down the racist killers of Stephen Lawrence in South East London, they actually were in the home of the Lawrences making a note of all the family and names of members of the family and all of their supporters. We know they also spied on the Roland Adams family, which was a justice campaign in the same part of South East London. But what we know crucially is this was deep infiltration, that the spies infiltrated organisations for 5 to 6 years. They took on leadership positions. Their role was to completely control and subvert and attempt to destroy democratic organisations like the anti-Vietnam War demonstration in the late 60s, early 70s. They even infiltrated organisations like Women's Liberation. We know they spied on 11 MPs. So Dave Nellis, for example, Jeremy Corbyn, they're core participants in the public inquiry. But crucially, what we have to understand, and we have to counter the propaganda, that this isn't just about a few bad apples, some rogue unit that went rogue and nobody at the top knew about it. That is absolute lies, and we have to go on the offensive and campaign against that narrative. These were political police units. The SDS was set up on the say-so of Harold Wilson, a Labour Prime Minister in 1968, because they were worried about the growth of socialist ideas in society, and they were worried about the anti-war movement, the anti-Vietnam movement developing in this country in 1968. The Home Office helped to set them up, funded them, gave them their office, and also took their annual reports each year. And actually, Norman Tebbit, who was a minister in Thatcher's government in the 1980s. He gate-crashed one of our press conferences and he gave the game away because he said, "What are you talking about? Why is this a surprise? I regularly met with members of Special Branch in the engineering unions, in Parliament in the 1980s in order to stop militants and socialists taking control of the engineering unions." So we said, wait a minute, can you say that again? Because nobody so far in the British state has admitted to direct collusion between government ministers and Special Branch and trade union officials. So these were right-wing trade union officials in very right-wing unions who met with Special Branch and Norman Tebbit in the 1980s. And just about every single police report that we've had has got box 500 in the top, and if box 500 was ticked, then that report went to MI5, and just about every report has gone to MI5. One of the police witnesses has said that the impetus to investigate these organisations, so us, our trade unions, our socialist left and progressive organisations, he said the impetus to investigate these organisations often originated from the Prime Minister and from Whitehall. Other evidence has disclosed the fact that the Foreign Office ran a research group, an anti-communist, anti-socialist research and surveillance group. The Cabinet Secretary in 1976 authorised the continuation of the existence of the SDS, the Special Demonstration Squad, the first that we know about, political policing unit. So that's what we know. And comrades, it's really important because all of us in this room that have campaigned against the anti-trade union laws, have campaigned for the right to strike, to join a trade union, to protest free from state surveillance, interference and free from police brutality. Everything that we have said, everything that the miners said during the miners' strike when they said our phones are being tapped, there's agent provocateurs on our picket lines, when the miners were brutally attacked or grieved because the police set a trap for them and then surrounded them and beat up the miners, and then the media, the BBC and other media colluded with the police and the state to falsify the film footage so it looked like the miners attacked the police. All of that was absolute lies, and we have been completely vindicated because of what we know, the disclosure that we've had through the undercover police inquiry. So I'm here to ask you to come to our demonstration in October when we have it outside the hearings of the undercover police inquiry. We need to keep the pressure on the inquiry to get to the truth. To affiliate to the campaign opposing police surveillance, but also to affiliate to the Police Spies Out of Lives campaign, which is the campaign of the women, the brave women who have spoken out, of not, you know, when they were stonewalled by the Met Police, when they said, is this man that I've had a relationship with for 6 years actually a member of the Metropolitan Police? And they stonewalled them and they said neither confirm nor deny, but they carried on their fight for justice and actually won an apology. So we want you to affiliate to their campaign, the Police Spies Out of Lives campaign, and also sign their online petition making it illegal for police officers to have sexual relationships with women in the course of their police duties. So we want you to go online and look at that. So just to finish, we don't want to frighten anybody. There's young people here from getting involved in the labour movement, the trade union movement, getting involved with socialist campaigns and organisations, because actually, despite all of their activity, we won. We beat the poll tax. We know they infiltrated the poll tax. We know they tried to brutalise anti-poll tax protesters. But we won. We defeated the poll tax and we defeated Thatcher. They set a trap for us in Welling in October 1963 when we organised a 60,000 strong anti-racist, anti-fascist demonstration. The police set a trap for us and they beat us up. Me included, although thanks to Kaz and others, they took the worst blows, not me and others. They gallantly defended us on the day, but nevertheless they set a trap for us and the police attacked us on that day. But we won. We closed down the British National Party and we pushed back the campaigns of the fascists and the far rights in South East London for over a decade. We've been completely vindicated, and we were on the right side of history. They infiltrated anti-apartheid, they infiltrated CND, they infiltrated the campaigns of the climate change protesters, and all of those have been completely vindicated, and as I said, on the right side of history. So please support this campaign, come to our protests, make sure your union branch is affiliated. We really need the money that the trade unions are giving us, and it's fantastic. We can produce leaflets, posters, and it also pays for the activists that we have at the inquiry hearings, pays their travel to record all of this stuff. It needs to be recorded, that we need to be the memory, and we need to record what's gone on, and the money that the unions have given us has enabled us to do all of that. So please support us. Thank you very much.